Good afternoon and welcome to Senior Day here at the Hamer Natatorium for today's dual meet between the California Vulcans and the Millersville Marauders. I'm Gary Smith. In a few minutes, I'm going to be joined by the pride of Best Center, Andrew White, but we're going to take a few moments to listen to our PA announcer, Matt Kiefer, talk about the senior swimmers that are here today for the California Vulcans. And welcome back to Hamer Hall Natatorium for today's Senior Day swim meet between the California Vulcans and the Millersville Marauders. I'm Gary Smith, and I'm joined by the Duke of Denbo Heights, Mr. Andrew White. And Andrew, this is your first swim meet you're getting to see. So what, as an outsider to the sport, what are you looking most forward to in today's meet?
Looking forward to seeing the athleticism of these girls. They put in countless hours of work regardless of how often they're covered by any media outlet. And I'm sure they appreciate, us getting out here and being able to cover their senior day, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
And it's going to be a fun event. It's a dual meet. California coming into this event with a dual record of 4-8, 3-1 here at the Hamer Hall Natatorium. The opponent, Millersville, 4-2. We're starting off with a time trial. This will not count for the meet total, but the Millersville swimmer Elena Rowe will be attempting to qualify for the PSAC. The time she needs to get is 19 minutes, 19 seconds, and 21 tenths. So, of course, there will be a little bit of time where we can talk and get into this meet. The time you see on the screen right now is not official. Because, in fact, I'm running it, and I was a few seconds off there because they started pretty quickly there. But it is Senior Day. If you would like to tell us a little bit about the three seniors for the California Vulcans, then on the other side we can talk a little bit about the seniors for Millersville.
So, yeah, first I'll start with the seniors from Millersville just because I kind of have their sheet ready here for you. And so we have Alana Jacobson out of Mechanicsburg, PA. She's a senior that really has just taken a lot of pride in being on this team. And, all these girls enjoy being part of more of, like I've said before, a sisterhood rather than just a team. And, she's done a great job, and she's going to be a part of a couple events today. And then we have Leah Mixa from Doylestown, PA. She went to high school at Central Bucks East, and I'm sure she's more than excited to be a part of this and, just take it all in here at the Hamer Hall. And then also Becca Yeager out of Middletown, PA. She went to high school at Lower Dauphin. And, these three are just, been part of the team for 4 years and wrapping up the season now. I'm sure that, this is one of their more exciting meets of the year.
And for the California Vulcans, Coach April Gitson, it's always a bittersweet day on Senior Day because players that are swimmers, athletes that have gone through the program, they may or may not be back. With the COVID years, not sure how much eligibility, but definitely this is the senior year for the three young ladies. And if you'd like to tell us a little bit about the three that were recognized, you saw and heard at the top of the broadcast some of the things that the swimmers had to say about the program. But just tell us once again who the seniors are for the Vulcans.
So we have Antonia Girarte. She is a 5'8" senior. She's going to be a part of the backstroke, the fly meter, and the free stroke today. And then we also have Gabby Miller. She's a fan favorite here, as you could kind of tell during the introduction. She definitely got a really well-rounded round of applause, and everybody here is excited to see her compete in what's been her last year. And then also Riley Rolden, just another marvelous senior for this California Vulcans team at 5'5", and she'll be part of the backstroke, the freelance, and the fly stroke as well.
And you might see in the background of some of our camera shots to the right that there are a couple decorations and frame shadow boxes for the Vulcan swimmers to take home and remember their time here at California. And also, if you were watching at the very beginning of the telecast, nice ceremony that was had. Both teams partook as the three Vulcan swimmers walked through to the other side of the pool through an archway made up of both the Millersville and the California swimmers. So it was a nice show of support from both teams. So right now we are in the middle, as we said, the first event. It's not going to be scored for team points in this meet. It is the women's 1650 freestyle time trial. Competing is Alana D. Rowe of the Millersville Marauders, trying to get a mark of 19 minutes, 19 seconds, and 21 to qualify for the PSACs. The qualifying mark for the NCAAs is 16:31:17, and Rowe is a junior swimmer out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And she swam at Mannheim Township. And Andrew, it's a busy day today. In addition to this event, there are a total of 7 events with the California Vulcans. This is the only home meet. Men's and women's basketball are on the road today in Mercier. So that game the women's game would have just tipped off right around 1 o'clock, so we'll check in and through the day and trying to give updates of that. If not, you can tune in on the PSAC network. Unfortunately, we were unable to split the crews today because the internet at Mercehurst is not the most reliable thing, so we're happy to be full coverage here at the Nadatorium. Also, the men's and women's track teams are competing at indoor meets at Kent State and also Alliance, Ohio, and not competing today, but practicing baseball and softball. I was walking in. I saw our good friend in Vulcan center fielder Adam Crawford getting ready to do some indoors. They said that they were outside, and also ran into tennis coach Anita Onfer, and they were able to get a little bit of indoors and outdoors with this weather.
It's definitely an exciting day around the world of sports for the California Vulcans, and I'm excited to see what the basketball team can do. It was a shame that we couldn't get up there, but with the renovation that Mercyhurst has gone through, it just hasn't really been an option for us. And we wish them the best of luck. It'll be exciting to see what the outcome of those games are. And kind of focusing back on the event that we're at here today, Alana Rowe, taking part of this first event, 10th all-time in the 1650 freestyle as of 2022. And she is a scholar athlete and has just done a great job for the school, only being a junior, so not really part of the senior recognition, but I'm sure that just gives her more time to kind of add up her accolades and allow for the experience to be all the better. And
we're roughly a third of the way through. The time on the screen, again, is not official. We're about 10 seconds behind on our clock. The time right now is about 5 minutes, 50 seconds. Her last lap was 34.96, so pretty good pace right now. Her teammates are up on the pool deck. And I always wondered about these type of events at the beginning with the long ones, because when we came in to set up, both teams were warming up, and then you have your relays and everything kind of waiting and cheering before they get into the pool. But a lively pool deck, pretty good crowd here for Senior Day at the Nadatorium. Students are back, and see a lot of fans and friends and families here taking part and watching what's going on.
Yeah, she's only one of the 3 athletes on the team to take part in the 1650 freestyle. Jane McClellan has taken part in it this year and actually set a marvelous time of 17.5 minutes earlier in the season. And also Rebecca Yeager. She is one of the other 2 athletes on this team to take part of this 1650. So definitely kind of a more selected group. And, I can't imagine the stress and the, physical demand that it takes to be able to swim back and forth for 20 minutes straight, leading up to. And, kudos to her, and we're excited to see what time she's going to finish up with.
And just looking down the meet sheet that we have in front of us, so Rowe will be swimming this grueling event, about a 19-20-minute race, and then in event number 9, she will also be taking part in the 100-yard backstroke. So she's getting both ends of it, the long and the short of it here today at the Hamer Nadatorium pool. And there will be 2 breaks in the event today. There are 12 total events. I'll run down them quickly as we have a few minutes, as Rowe is now around 7 minutes and 35 seconds. Her last lap was 35 seconds, 35.62. But after this will be the women's 200-yard medley relay. There will be 3 teams in that, 2 from Millersville and 1 from California. After that will be the women's 1,000-yard freestyle, and that will have 5 competitors, 3 from Millersville, 1 from California. Then event number 4 will be the women's 200-yard freestyle. There'll be 6 competitors, about a 50-50 split. Then after that, the women's 50-yard free, which is just a mad dash across the pool, and it's a lot of fun to watch. I think you'll enjoy watching that, as this is your first time seeing a swim meet in Hamer Nadatorium. There'll be 2 California swimmers in that. That'll comprise of heat number 1, and there's actually a second heat for that have 6 swimmers. Event number 6 today will be the women's 400-yard individual medley, and there will be 5 swimmers in that. Then there will be a short 10-minute break as everybody can kind of catch their breath. And then the second third of the event will be the women's 100-yard butterfly. There's one heat of that. Event 8 will be the women's 100-yard freestyle. And then event 9 will be the 100-yard backstroke. Event 10, as I turn the sheet, will be the 500-yard freestyle, then another break, and then the final 3 events will be the 100-yard breaststroke, and final 2 events will be the 100-yard breaststroke and the women's 200-yard freestyle relay. Right now, Rowe is just over 9 minutes into her quest. She'll be making the turn here. See what her last lap is. So 36:22, and Andrew, seems like she's maintaining a good pace, but maybe slowing down just a little bit as she enters the middle part of this time trial.
And I mean, I can't imagine that, you wouldn't slow down. It's definitely something that takes a lot of endurance. A lot of your stamina is tested in an event like this. And especially being the only one out there, it's got to be somewhat stressful to, you want to deliver for not only your team, but for everybody here watching. And, all the people tuning in online, which we appreciate greatly. And, she's doing a great job. And luckily for her, even though she is in 2 more events later, she does have a long break after this. She won't be back until the 9th event. So at least she'll have a little bit of time to kind of catch her breath and enjoy watching her teammates compete as well.
And even though she's alone in the pool right now, her teammates, you can probably hear in our microphones, are doing a great job of trying to keep cheering her on and keep her engaged. Right now at the split, 9 minutes 51-57. So if my very rudimentary math skills are put to test, means she might just be under the qualifying time. It's going to be close. So she's at a good pace. The last lap was 36:02, so a little bit quicker on that last stretch down the pool.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see each lap. Kind of, you can get an idea of what that lap took out of her or how long it took her to do that. And like you said, your math may be very, very rudimentary, but at the same time, you are correct. If she were to keep up that exact pace, she would get her time by about 10 to 15 seconds. So you just have to hope that she doesn't, have any stamina issues and doesn't slow down, continues at the pace that she's at. And, we're rooting for her, that's for sure.
And again, the time to qualify for the PSAC is 19 minutes, 19 seconds, and 21 tenths. That last lap was 35:60, so she's kicked it up a little bit on that last run through the pool. So I think her fastest lap has been around 34.5, and her slowest has been around 36.5. So she's been in that 2-second range the entire time. So very good pace for the junior swimmer from Millersville in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So she's going to make another turn here, and let's take a look to see what her split is with the official time, 35:47. And again, the time you see on the screen is about 10 seconds slower. It's not official, just up there to trying to give an idea of what is going on, what kind of neighborhood and the swimmer is in terms of time.
And she's, it's got to be definitely somewhat of a test. Now the split coming up at 11 minutes and 38 seconds. It has to be really a test of your endurance and being able to kind of just space out your efforts. You don't want to go too hard off the rip to where, towards the end when she's on her 50th, 60th lap that, she's slowed down or tired more than she should be. So she's just kind of trying to pace herself right now. And, obviously she has no idea what that clock's sitting at, so she's just trying to work as hard as she can to get to that number.
And the one good thing for an endurance race is, and we can see it pretty clear from where we are here, is she makes another turn. A lot of times in endurance races, when the athletes start getting tired, they start short-changing the turns, which means they go a little shorter and they don't get a good push-off. But we can see her make the turn right now. She's getting very deep into it and a good push-off, so she's using that momentum to her advantage to go down. That last lap was 35:91, so we're at the 13-minute mark officially. About 6 more minutes to go to see if she qualifies or hits the PSAC qualifying mark. So I think it's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, it's definitely going to come down to the wire. And, regardless or not, if she does qualify, I'm sure, her teammates and coaches are going to be very proud of her efforts. It's, I know we keep saying it, but it's definitely a test to her. And you just got to be able to take what you can get. And whatever number she gets, I'm sure she'll be proud of as well.
Well, and the one thing, too, about a one-person time trial is if we were doing fantasy PSAC swimming, everyone would get first-place points because there's only one competitor in this time trial, even though, as we mentioned a few times, this does not count towards the dual meet. And speaking of dual meets, mentioned at the top, California coming into this pretty good dual meet record, 4-2 overall, 4-8 overall, 3-1 here at home, and that's a number that's a little higher in terms of dual meets. Coach Gitson has added a lot more meets this year and a few more home meets. There were a few in the fall. that were here in a couple tri-meets, and I know they competed a few weeks ago it was a tri-meet between the Penn West campuses, California Clarion and Edinburgh. So last lap was about 35. She's at 14:01.72.
Obviously, with today being senior day for the Vulcans, I mean, just to look ahead at what they got coming up, the 14th through the 17th will be the PSAC championships in Carlisle, PA. So, I mean, this is really wrapping up their season and just kind of giving them a feel for, what they can expect going into next season. Sending off their seniors on a good note is obviously what they'll be trying to do. And, we're excited to get into the competition portion of this after the individual time trial, but nonetheless, we definitely want to see her be able to qualify for the PSAC.
The total time right now is 14:37.30 after that last turn. The clock is going to hit 15 minutes right now. Again, our clock is about 10 seconds off. So she's getting into the final 4 minutes or so of this time trial. Once again, coming up immediately after this, she'll have a short little cool down. But it will be the women's 200-yard medley relay, and that will consist of Millersville in lanes 3 and 5 and California in lane 4. So that'll be an exciting event.
I'm excited to kind of just dive into these events and see what they consist of, because for the most part, coming in, I mean, we've mentioned that this is my first live swim meet in person, and just being able to get a feel for what these girls kind of prepare for and train for on a daily basis it's interesting and it's cool to see. And I mean, like I said before, just the competitive aspect of it is still there, and it's gonna be a fun ride.
And in my opinion, the relays are, in terms of fan, and again, I'm coming at this as a pure fan, they're super fun because you got multiple teammates on the pool deck in the actual heat, and then your rest of your teammates on both sides cheering you on. And we're at the 16:50 mark, and the Millersville squad imploring her to go. The last lap time will be coming up. She's at 16:24.28 overall. Did not see what that last lap is, but coming into about the last 3.5 minutes. So it's going to be close to see if she will qualify. Again, the number to look for to qualify for the PSACs will be 19:19.21. Gets to the middle of the pool, her coaches and teammates imploring her.
Looking back for Millersville, I know we kind of talked about how their record is 4-2 on the season, but 2 of their last 3 meets winning by a landslide, over 100 points, winning against Lock Haven back on the 14th of December. They had almost a month break until they hosted Keene, which they did lose that meet, but then following that, TCNJ, they played, and they also won by over 100. So this is a team that the Vulcans can't take lightly, and I'm sure that they're hoping to send their seniors off on a good note.
And that last lap was 35, a little bit over 35 seconds. So she's in that sweet spot right now of being in that 35-second lap, 35:16 right there, so improved it a little bit. She made the turn at 17:39, so about a minute and a half left to see if she will hit that qualifying mark.
Couldn't imagine doing this. I mean, I can't imagine how tired she's getting and how worn out, not only her body, but her legs, and just you have to have a breathing technique when you're doing something like this, and I'm sure obviously she's trained for it and she's prepared for it, but it's definitely something that's a testament to who she is, and I'm sure everybody involved with her is very proud.
So we're at 18 minutes. See the coach in the back with the stopwatch, so I have a feeling she's going to be close to this mark as her teammate ramps up the cheering. That last lap was, I believe, one of her fastest, 34:79. Just a blazing lap. Making the turn at the far end, 18:30. Has about 45 seconds to do, and both teams are up. This is a good show of sportsmanship as the California team cheering her on as she's going down the final stretch. This will be the bell lap, so this will be the last lap, 18:43. It's going to be close. That last lap was 35, so she gets another 35. It's going to be close to that mark.
As of right now, it's looking like it's going to line up within the 5-second mark to see if she's going to make it or not. I mean, she's got about 20 seconds here and half of 34 is 17, so it's going to be very close to see how she ends up.
She has about 10 seconds, 19:09, 19:10. Teammates trying to get her in to the end, 5-4. She's going to be very close, and she does it. 19:18 unofficially as the clock goes through, but she will qualify for the PSACs. A great final lap there by Alana Rowe. We're going to wait and see what the final number is, 19:17.72. So she qualifies for about a second and a half. And Andrew, that was a fantastic final bell lap.
Yeah, that was absolutely impressive on her part. I mean, to be able to swim 60-some laps and on the last one to finally, pull together her best time out of the whole swim itself. I mean, that's impressive in itself, and, I'm sure she's proud of herself.
And she's going to get a little bit of a cool down here, a much-needed cool down. And like I said, just a fantastic display of sportsmanship. Both teams were cheering her on, and she's going to take her final cool down lap right now as the relays will get ready on the right side. So we'll go through the lineup for the relays right now, and this is the 200-yard medley relay. Lanes 3, 4, and 5 will be used. In lanes 3, leading off for Millersville will be Olivia Terrazas, Leah Eckert, Mackenzie Yosko, and Leia Mixa. And I looked at that quickly, and I believe it's Mixa. And then for California, Emily Guffey, Ella Degani, Ella Root, and then Antonio Giorgetta. And then the other relay team for Millersville, Madison Taylor, Ava Adeletti, Alana Jacobson, and Kate Pelagatti. So those will be the competitors. This is the 200-meter, and Andrew, this is going to be quick.
Like we said, about it being senior day, we got a couple seniors in action here for both sides, so it'll be exciting to see them kind of kick things off one final time in their relay, and definitely going to be exciting. Like you said, it's going to be more of a quick event than that first one for sure.
They're going to start in the backstroke. The time to look at is 1:42.84. And there's the start. About an even start for all three competitors. Nice to getting the first swimmer up. Will be in lane 3, Madison Taylor. It looks like it's a pretty quick or a pretty even matchup between the three swimmers. Taking the turn first will be Guffey for California, and she pops out of the water first, so she's strengthening here on her lap as her teammate Ella Root will be waiting to take and get into the pool first. So California, after the first swimmer, will be in the lead, about a body and length and a half lead for California. That was a 31:28 lap. Now the breaststroke will be Ella Root. And it seems, Andrew, that she's lengthening that lead ever so slightly.
Yeah, anytime you can build even just a half a body length lead, it's going to be a big difference in events like this, because you don't really have the amount of time that, obviously the time trial had to begin. And, California jumping off to an early lead, even only being with one of the lanes occupied.
And Ella Degani, the third swimmer for California, has a slight lead over the third swimmer for Millersville's Mackenzie Yosko. California makes the turn, but it is almost neck and neck. Degani trying to hold off Yosko, trying to get the anchor for Giorgetta. Giorgetta into the pool first, followed by Leah Miska.
That was a great dive by Giorgetta there to kind of get off to a quick start, and this turn here at the far wall is going to be quite crucial.
And it's going to be Giorgetta and Miska. Giorgetta has about a half a length lead. But Miska coming up pretty strong on the outside. This is going to be close. Millersville swimmer coming up. I think California is going to get the win, and they do. Time unofficially will be under 2 minutes. It won't be enough for the NACB mark. 1:55 for California in lane 4. So a great swim for the Vulcans. And I apologize as I forgot to hit the start button on the clock, so that was why the zeros didn't move. So I apologize to everybody home and to you, the Duke of which hometown? I forgot again.
Denbo Heights.
Denbo Heights. You said Brownsburg, but like
Close enough.
I can't have you claim Brownsburg.
Right.
I mean, Hill or Browns, that's me. So the Duke of Denbo Heights. So after the cool down here, we will move into the third event. It will be the 100-yard freestyle. There will be 5 swimmers in this event. In lane 1 at the top of the screen will be Madison Taylor for Millersville. And then lane 3, lane 2 will be empty. Lane 3 will be Jane McClellan of Millersville. Lane 4 will be Maddie Moretti of California. And then lane 5 will be Becca Yeager. The times to look at in this one, as I promise I will start the clock this time. The NCAA mark is 9:54.77, but the PSAC mark, the one everyone's trying to hit today to try and get in the PSACs in a few weeks, 11:09.56. So this is going to be a little bit longer.
Once again, we have another senior present for Millersville as Becca Yeager is going to be kind of wrapping things up here in lane 5, and we'll have to see how she can do here.
And we're off for the 1,000-yard freestyle. So this will be a little bit of an endurance race. As I said, we're going to be looking at a number of about 12 minutes here, 11 or 12 minutes. And again, we have swimmers in lanes 1, 3, 4, and 5. Lane 2 is empty right now. It looks like the athlete in lane 3, Jane McClellan of Millersville, will make the turn first. She has a time this year of 10:45.92, and that is good enough to get her into the PSACs a little bit. So just trying to get and hone in on those championship times that she's going to want in a couple weeks. So the PSAC meet is, like any conference championship, is a tough meet.
Yeah, coming up quickly, too, as we're kind of approaching the end of January here. And like I said, it's February 14th to the 17th, so they'll have about 2 weeks of preparation following this to get ready for that PSAC or PSAC qualifiers. And right now just trying to get there themselves with these times.
And she has about a 1.5 second lead over her teammate in lane – a second half over Maddie Moretti of California. So McClellan, Moriarty. And this is what I was telling you before, the scoreboard is an acquired taste if you're not used to seeing the swimming scoreboard where the leaders are at. But right now lane 3 is leading 101.35 on that last one. See her time come up now. That was a lap of 32.23. Unofficially, she's around 1:38 for the meet, or for the event right now. And she's extending her lead even more. So you have McClellan in first and Maddie Moretti of California in second. And McClellan is just extending the lead over Moretti even more. So you can see that why she has hit that qualifying mark.
And right now her time's looking pretty good in the sense of trying to once again hit the qualifying mark. And, she's doing a great job as she's building her lead more and more with each lap.
Another lap of 32.61 right there. So just over 2 minutes. Officially her time is 2:06.21. So about a quarter of the way through this event. And this is what I was telling you a little bit about before, that, when you get these longer events, sometimes you'll get a long separation. But the thing you want to watch, especially for the team aspect of it, even though it looks like clearly McClellan is going to take first, you went for California, Moretti, to at least get second for those team points, especially since you only have one athlete in this event. So
McClellan, the sophomore, is actually third all-time in the 1,000-yard freestyle, and that was just set earlier this year. So she's definitely trying to kind of keep up with the pace that she's made for herself, and with her only being a sophomore, there's plenty more room for improvement, and I'm sure she'll build up her accolades as the time goes on.
32.85 was that trip down the pool. Waiting to see what her official time is. Unofficially, she's about 3:11. Yeah, officially 3:11.77. So a very, very good pace as she passes Moretti again. Moretti, though, even though she's falling a little bit behind, a little bit more each lap to McClellan, she's extending her lead over Taylor and Yeager for Millersville in lanes 1 and 5. So for California, it looks like right now they're in a good spot to get that second place.
McClellan coming out of Trenton, Michigan, one of the further recruits for this Millersville team, and I'm sure, to be able to find a small school like Millersville and kind of excel for them has been quite the experience for her, and you have to see what her future holds as she's kind of building on this lead more and more.
We'll have to see. She was at 3:44 on that last lap. She's going to hit the turn right now. She's been around that mid-32 second now. That was a little slower lap, 33:41. Her coach giving her some signals about pace right now. So, again, unofficially, you see the clock at the top of the screen, about 4.5 minutes. So, a little over halfway through this event. Again, the qualifying mark to look at for the PSACs is 11:09:56. So, we will continue to see if that mark will be reached, and I believe it. Again, with my rudimentary math skills, I see you over there with the calculator trying to figure out if it's possible for two swimmers in this event to get it. As McClellan once again just extends that lead. It's about a pool and a half. Well, it's about 3/4 of a pool lead over Moretti. Coming up after this will be event number 4, and that will be the 200-yard freestyle. And there will be 6 competitors in that. So that will be a pretty fast event, as I believe that will be 4 trips up and down the pool.
We'll have every lane filled with that event as well, so it'll be definitely action-packed from all sides and all angles here in the Hamer Hall Auditorium.
Natatorium.
Natatorium. It caught me on a slip there.
It's okay. The punishment for getting it wrong is you got to swim to the Knoll Water Tower before the next break. So you got a little bit of time. And speaking of time, we're at 5:25:28 officially for McClellan, as she has about a pool length lead over Moretti, and Moretti has about a half to a 3/4 pool lead over Madison Taylor in lane 1 and Becca Yeager in lane 5. So again, lane 2 in this event. Don't think that a shark came up and got an athlete, a swimmer in the pool. That just lane 2 is not used for this event. Not sure if someone withdrew at the last minute or just strategy.
Looking back, we kind of talked about how McClellan set a time earlier of 10:45, but when I look here on their website, she actually has her personal best time being 10 minutes and 36 seconds. So she was 30 minutes clear of what the PSAC number would be for qualifying.
30 seconds.
Yes. Yeah.
30 minutes, she would be.
Oh, that's what I meant to say, 30 seconds.
She would be on the cover of every Wheaties box in the world. 6:31 is her time after that last lap. So she is in first. California is in second place. So here comes another turn. See what the time is for the lap, 33:40. So pretty much maintaining, getting a thumbs up from her coach at the pool deck. And you see when we go to the long shot, there's swimmers going each direction. So it is McClellan in first, and then the Vulcan Moretti in second. And then I believe lane 5, Becca Yeager's in third for Millersville, and Madison Taylor is in fourth in lane 1. So 33:17 was the time for McClellan that last lap. It appears she's going to have an easy, comfortable swim here in the last couple turns to get the win for herself and Millersville.
I was just going to say, you got to wonder if, putting them in certain lanes is more of a strategy or kind of like a comfort thing. I know that me personally, I feel like being able to be in lane 1 or lane 6 and just having a wall to my left, not so much of a distraction of another swimmer, would be somewhat of an advantage on my part. Now, granted, I haven't swam in a pool ever competitively, but just to think about it in that sense and just seeing how supportive everybody is here, regardless of what team they're on, and how important a good support system can be is it's fascinating for me.
We're going to see turn at the far part of the pool for McClellan. She was at 8:11:13 after that. Our unofficial time is fairly close this time to the official time, so should get a good idea of where she stands. That last lap was 33.12, and her total will be in a second coming up on the board. Possibly around like an 8:40, if I had to guess. 8:38, 8:40. 8:44 is her official time through there. She makes the turn on the far end. Once again, the next event will be the 200-yard freestyle and then the 50-yard freestyle. So getting through some of these longer events early, and it's going to be more sprints and faster action coming up for the next couple heats.
Another aspect of this sport that's just somewhat interesting is that, you know, you have these longer events where endurance and stamina and being able to pace yourself is so important. And then you also have the events like the 50-yard freestyle that really it's all about what you can do in the 1 or 2 laps that you're pushing for. So it'll be interesting to see the difference in competition once we get to those shorter events.
And for California, Moretti in lane 2 had a nice lap that time of 34.60. About a second and a half behind McClellan, but both of the athletes are maintaining a pretty standard pace for each one of those. McClellan's been around that 32, 33 mark each and every lap, and Moretti has been around that maybe about a half second slower, but still maintaining that pace. So as we can kind of see below us on the pool deck, the next event competitors starting to get loosened up and ready. We have the official coming out for the bell lap, so one final time for McClellan.
This girl's doing such a good job of just being able to maintain composure and, you know, stay focused on the task at hand. I know that myself, I would definitely be quite worn out doing all the things that they're doing here. And, I mean, I can't attest enough to their endurance and just how they are able to kind of space out their efforts throughout the entire competition.
And we're going to see what the final number here is as she touches the wall. Blazing fast, 31.62 for the final. 10:40.38 is her time. And that will comfortably, even though she was already qualifying, that'll comfortably requalify. Another qualifying mark. Great run, or excuse me, a great swim by McClellan. And in second place for California will be Maddie Moretti. And I'm not sure if this is her final lap or if she has one more. This should be it, and she touches the wall. A nice swim for her. That was a final lap of 33. Or a final time of 11:13.66. So she will just miss out by about 4 seconds on the PSAC mark, if my math is correct. But still a great swim for her. She will get second in this heat. And then Millersville's final 2 swimmers will be Becca Yeager in third and Madison Taylor in fourth. So it'll go McClellan, Moretti, Taylor, Yeager. And a great swim.
Yeah, it was an interesting competition. Pretty much our last of the longer events. We have one more coming up, the 400-yard, that'll last somewhere around 5 to 6 minutes. But, I mean, it's the last of the test of these long endurance swims that these girls will go through today.
And this next event will have a full field. Lanes 1 through 6 will be the 200-yard freestyle. The time to look at for the PSACs, 2:02.8, so 2 minutes, 2 seconds, and 8 tenths. Jules Hepner in lane 1 for Millersville. Emily Guffey for California in lane 2. Claire Weaver for Millersville in lane 3. Antonio Dragetta for California in lane 4. Christian Mail in lane 5. And Autumn Krisner for California in lane 6. And the officials are getting ready as the last competitors are getting out of the pool on the far end. So we're going to get the officials saying, let's get going.
This should be the last competitive swim for Antonia Georgetta, as obviously she's been a part of senior day here today, and considering the fact that, you know, she's able to take part in this 200-yard freestyle, and I'm sure she's soaking in every last second of it.
And again, the time to look at, 2:02.8. Everybody's bunched up at the far end. We'll see who makes the turn first. It looks like it will be Georgetta or Christian in lanes 4 or 5. We're kind of a weird angle, but they appear to be neck and neck, but no one's really coming out. Now it looks like lane 3 for Millersville, Claire Weaver, she will make the turn first. And there's still not a lot of separation between lanes 3, 4, 5, and 1. So looking at the far end of the pool to see who's going to make the turn fast. And it will be lane 1, Jules Hepner. And she makes the turn. She has about a half a body lead over her teammate in lane 3, Claire Weaver. We're right around the 1 minute mark. And here's the turn, and it is in fact a clear lead for Jules Hepner in lane 1, followed by Claire Weaver and Antonio Giorgetta for California. So Millersville looks like they're 1 and 2 with California in third right now. Still in the lead on the long turn will be Jules Hepner with about a minute 17. So again, 2:02:08 is the PSAC mark. Giorgetta for California in lane 4 is maintaining that third place right now, maybe pulling up a little bit closer to Weaver in lane 3. Strong turn for Giorgetta. Hepner now still maintaining that lead. Hepner strong into the far turn. 1:48 unofficially right now, so we'll see if she can get to that time. And it looks like it'll be Millersville, possibly 1 and 2, Hepner and Weaver. Giorgetta trying to climb into that third place, but on the near side in lane 5 is Christian. And it'll be Millersville 1, 2, and then Giorgetta will hold on for 3. Christian Mill in 4th, and then Emily Guffey for California in lane 2. So the official time was 2:02:25 for Jules Hepner. And Andrew, what did you think about that?
It's pretty interesting, and especially saying 2:02:25 when the mark was 2:02:08. I mean, that just goes to show how important each and every stroke is, and just pushing off the wall when you can and making the correct turns. I mean, it's a shame that she just missed out on it, but it's still a great feat on everybody's part, and they all, did their best. It was interesting to see kind of a shorter competition amongst these ladies.
Well, my friend, you're in for a treat because the next event will be 2 heats of the 50-yard freestyle. The PSAC mark is 25:83, so this is going to be a very, very, very fast race. In Heat 1, Emily Green for California and Cara Tony for California in lanes 3 and 4. So only 2 swimmers in this heat. It will be 2 California swimmers in lanes 3 and 4. And they're off.
Emily Green, the junior, out of on this California Vulcans team, and we also have Cara Tony, who's a sophomore for them. So, only the 2 of them in this race, but they're going to try their best to make a decent time.
And Tony will hit the wall first. She'll have about a length lead over her teammate. Her time will be 27:78, and her teammate's time of Emily Green will be 29:76. So that's Heat 1 of this very quick sprint. Now the next heat, as a cool down, we'll have 6 competitors, all in lanes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In lane 1, Kate Pelagatti for Millersville. Lane 2 for California, Ashlyn Hornick. Lane 3 for Millersville, Leah Mixa. Lane 4 for California, Gabby Miller, the senior. Lane 5, Lindsay Robbins for Millersville. And in lane 6, Riley Roldan for California. So, once again, the time to look at, 25:83. And again, Andrew, this is going to be quick.
We got Ashlyn Hornick in there, writer for the Cal Times here at the university. So, shout out to her and everything she does for the paper.
So, we'll keep an eye on lane 2 for Ashlyn. Again, trip up and back, and that will consist of this second heat. And the competitors are away. It looks like lane 4, Gabby Miller, the senior, getting out to a strong start, and I believe she will hit the wall at the end in first, and she will. So coming down the final stretch, it looks like Gabby Miller extending her lead, and she's starting to pull away. So Gabby Miller with a heck of a good swim, and this is going to be close to the time, 23:24. She hits the lane, 24.82, and that should be enough to qualify for the PSACs.
A great swim there by Gabby, the senior, shown out in her last little meet here, and I'm sure she's proud to be able to qualify for the PSAC.
And again, everything we say is unofficial. For all the official results, check out KyleValkens.com. Matt Kiefer and the stats will have the official stuff, but if we're reading this correct, Gabby Miller should have qualified with a 24.82, so great swim on senior day. But talk about that start, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it's just so important to get a good dive off the rip, and not only that, but just to be able to turn off of the far wall efficiently and as quickly as possible is crucial, especially when every single little race is down to just a couple milliseconds. And now she's qualified for the PSAC unofficially, but it's very good news for her.
And we're going to move into the last event before our first little break here. It'll be the women's 400 individual medley. Alana Jacobson, Bella Dugani, Jordan Plemple, Audrey Weaver, and Leah Eckert. As we get ready to start this, the time to look at is 4:59.24. And we're off, so the California swimmers will be in lanes 2 and 4. Millersville in lanes 1, 3, and 5. Starting out, I believe, with the breaststroke. Lane 3 will have the lead, Jordan Plemple. A strong start for her. She has about a length lead over second place. Dugani for California. And what a turn there, Andrew, by Millersville. She extended her lead by about a length and a half there on that turn.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to the point of how important it is to be able to kick off that wall as quickly and effectively as possible, and they do a good job of that, and every time you do a good job, it goes to show in the final results.
So you have Plemple in first place for Millersville, but in second and third right now, California occupying second place will be Weaver. Fight for third will be Dugani and Jacobson. Dugani has her cap fall off on the turn as she goes to the backstroke. And now it looks like she might be passed for third by Alana Jacobson for Millersville. But Millersville continuing in first, California in second right here.
In the spirit of senior day, we got Alana Jacobson, the senior for Millersville. So I'm sure she's trying to make her mark as well as they're kind of wrapping up their portion of the season on their end.
Yeah, Plemple on the backstroke leg of this. It's extended the lead. Continuing this is making the turn now in second for California. In lane 4 will be Audrey Weaver. In third place in lane 1 will be Alana Jacobson.
All three of the swimmers for Millersville have actually already set the mark for the PSAC qualifying. So I'm sure they're just trying to kind of gain an edge and, commit to and allow themselves to realize that they are capable of making that mark once again.
So unofficially, we're a little over halfway into this heat. Again, 4:59 is the time to look at. Big lead now for Plemple. She just keeps extending and extending, so good swim for her. Still in second place for California will be Weaver. I don't think Weaver can catch Plemple, but I don't think anybody can catch Weaver, although Jacobson in lane 1 is starting to put up a little bit of a fight and gaining just a little bit, but I think Audrey Weaver is going to be able to hold off for second place here. And then battle in lanes 2 and 5 is Dugani and Aaliyah Eckert. But Plemple just extending 3:14.22 right now. far and away is going to take this heat for Millersville. She's going to go into a turn. So this will be the final discipline of this medley. 42-second lap for the the last discipline. She extends, but again, it looks like Audrey Weaver for California will maintain second place. Question here is, can Weaver do enough to get under that 4:59.24 qualifying mark? Plemple now goes into another turn. Should have one more turn left for her. And now Weaver, the turn for California. As the field stretches out just a little bit. But Plemple's still in first. Weaver still in second. And in lane one, Jacobson, the senior, will be in third. So here we come to the wall. Will be Plemple touching. Looking at her final time. Do not see what her final time is. We'll see if California can get there underneath. I think she will be just short of the time. So we're getting the final results now. Plemple at 4:56. Excuse me. I believe that was wrong because they had lane 4 faster than lane 3. So it looks like Plemple will win 4:50.62, and then in second place, just missing, will be California at 5:02.99. But Andrew, we're going to take a short little bit of a break, and we'll be back for the next segment of the event. You're watching Senior Day Swimming, California Millersville on CTV Sports 1 and the PSAC Network. And welcome back to the Hamer Hall Natatorium for today's swim meet between the California Vulcans and the Millersville Marauders. And Andrew, as we noted earlier, there's a lot going on in Vulcan Nation today, and you have an update from Mercyhurst, the women's basketball team taking on the Lakers in a key PSAC West matchup.
Yeah, so right now we got Vulcans down 4 early in the third quarter. Actually now got a little bit of an update. They're only down 1, 34-30. 6 minutes left to play in the third. And, yeah, it's just been a tough matchup both ways. They got outscored 8 in the first quarter, but kind of came back in the second. So.
And here we're getting ready for the 100-yard butterfly. And I will give you the update in a second. So as we get to the start, the competitors are in lane 1, Becca Yeager of Millersville. Lane 2, Riley Rolden, Christian Mill, Antonio Giorgetta, and Mackenzie Yosko. As they reach the far side, and again, our time is a little off because I didn't reset from what I needed to. So this is unofficial, just kind of giving you an idea at home of what ballpark they are in. Lane 3 will be Christian Mill. She is starting to take a little bit of a lead over her teammate in lane 5, Mackenzie Yosko. Now, it actually looks like Yosko might be gaining. See how they hit the wall, and it's pretty much a dead heat between teammates Mel and Yosko in lanes 3 and 5. And then in third place is California Vulcan senior Antonio Giorgetta. Giorgetta trying to make up some time. She will finish third. So the teammates for Millersville finish 1-2. Very good swim for them, but Antonio Giorgetta, a strong swim. We'll see if anybody hit the mark of 1:01:36. And the quickest time was 1:02:04, 1:02:13. Very close between teammates, then 1:04:47. So no one making the qualifying mark for the PSACs as we get ready, Andrew, into the next event, which would be the 100-yard freestyle. If you'd like to give the lane assignments.
Yeah,
I would love to hear what the Duke of Denbo Heights will do with the lane assignments.
Got it right this time. So in lane 1, we got Lindsey Robbins from Millersville. Lane 2, we got Ashlyn Hornick from California. Lane 3, we got Jules Hepner from Millersville. Lane 4, the senior Gabby Miller from California. Lane 5, the senior Leah Mixka from Millersville. And then lane 6, Ella Root from California.
And the qualifying mark to look at for the PSAC is 56:35 as the competitors take their mark. And we are set for the 100 free. And there's the start. Great start for all the competitors. And it looks like Gabby Miller for California has a slight lead as she hits the far wall. And she will turn, and she's extended her lead a little bit with a strong kick underwater. She's still holding off. The nearest competitor right now is Jules Hepner above her in lane 3, but Miller still in first for California, making the turn at 26:09. A strong start for Gabby Miller. The time to look at is 56:35. And Miller, the senior, making another strong turn. It's going to be close to see if she can qualify here. She takes the final turn. She will win this heat, and it looks like Hepner for Millersville will finish second, but check out that clock, 50:51. Gabby Miller hitting the wall at, I believe, unofficially 55 seconds, and I think she will qualify. I think she will hit that mark. We need to see. But that was a great swim by the senior.
Yeah, she started out really strong there that first lap. She was definitely on pace to hit the mark and kind of just kept going on her second way back, and I believe she did.
Yeah, 54:75. So Gabby Miller, I believe, will qualify officially for the PSACs. And then the second place in lane 3 was Jules Hepner. She was already qualified, but her time would have been good enough too at 56:41. She would have been just over, but she had already qualified. So congratulations for Gabby Miller. Once again, what we're saying is a little unofficial just because not 100% sure that we're reading this correctly. We believe we are, but for all official timing and updates, just go to calvulcans.com and it'll have who all qualified, when, where, how. and everything fun like that. But congratulations to senior Abby Miller on a fantastic 54.75 swim in the 100-yard freestyle. Now we're going to event number 9, the 100-yard backstroke. And Andrew, let's hear the lane assignments.
So number 1, we got Elena Rowe, who has kind of been absent since her first little 20-minute time trial. And then lane 2, Cara Tony from California. Lane 3, Jordan Plemple from Millersville. Lane 4, Emily Guffey from California. Lane 5, Olivia Terreras from Millersville. And lane 6, Emily Green from California.
So another 100-yard event right now popping up first via the pair of California teammates in Tony and Guffey. It looks like Millersville in lane 3, a strong final push there. Plemple now taking the lead, kind of drifting to the inside of her lane, but she is strong off that turn, and she is extending. It looks like her teammate in lane 5, Terraza, will be in second, followed by the pair of Vulcan swimmers. And it will be Millersville 1 and 2, California 3 and 4. In lane 4, Guffey for California trying to come back on Terrazas and get at least second place as Plemple is just pulling away. PSAC mark in this event is 102.55. Strong swim right now. It's going to be close, but I believe Plemple will qualify easily, and she already has with a 59.12 earlier, but she will take first place. Second place for Millersville in lane 5, Olivia Terraza, and then third place, lane 4 of California, Emily Guffey, and then Cara Tony. And then in the top lane, Elena Rowe will finish. So a very, very fast heat there for the competitors. But, Andrew, that was a heck of a second turn for Millersville's Jordan Plemple.
Yeah, I mean, the backstroke is one of the most interesting swimming techniques that you'll see in these swim meets, just because, like, you know, you looked at Elena Rowe and she's kind of excels in that 20-minute time trial that she did earlier of just freestyle. And seeing her kind of fall back a little bit, it's no knock to her because it's a different technique and it's something that, you know, you got to practice strongly at. And it's interesting to watch from a fan's perspective like myself.
So the fastest time of that heat was 102.22. And the slowest was 1:17. So a good grouping there for the athletes as we move into event number 10 of the day, the 500-yard free. Qualifying mark is 5 minutes, 28 seconds, 55. And there will be a break after this one before the final 3 events. So lane 1, I'll let you. I'm stepping on your toes here, sir. Don't throw me in the pool.
So in lane 1, we got Madison Taylor from Millersville. Lane 2, we got Bella Dugani from Cal. Lane 3, Jane McClellan from Millersville. Lane 4, Maddie Moretti from California. And lane 5, Claire Weaver from Millersville. So lane 6 being empty in this heat.
So again, the qualifying mark 5:28.55 as the swimmers take their marks. And a strong start for all the competitors. First up will be California's Moretti. But it's close right now. Again, this is about a 5-minute swim. I believe my math is correct. Possibly 20 laps or 10 laps. I cannot remember. I can never remember how long the Hamer Hall pool is. But regardless, at the end of lap number 1, swimmer in first is McClellan for Millersville, we've heard her name a few times in different events. They're having a good afternoon here on the banks of the Mon River at California.
It will be a 50-yard pool, so that will be 10 laps total for the competitors here. As you know, your math was definitely on point there before you second-guessed yourself.
Well, seen off screen was both of Andrew, our hands and feet and toes were all out, and we were counting. So there's a couple fans looking at us like we're crazy, but I think we got the right information. And at the end of this lap, still the right information is Jane McClellan in first, but followed behind are the competitors in lanes 2, 4, and 5. So this is a very competitive swim right now. Looks like in second place is California's Maddie Moretti, and I believe she is in second. Looks like it's McClellan, Moretti, and Weaver. Moretti holding off Weaver just a little bit as we come to about the quarter mark of this event. Moretti with a nice kick, gaining a little bit on that turn on the leader, McClelland.
McClelland, really an impressive swimmer. She's been really delivering today in all of her events that she's taken part of, and as you can see here, with starting to gain a little bit on her lead.
McClelland just inching out, so it looks like the race, at least in this part of the event, will be for second place between Moretti and Weaver. Moretti holding about a half-length lead over Weaver, as McClelland now extends to about a 3-length lead. Moretti not giving up. She moves to the middle part of the lane, trying to draft a little bit on the wake of McClelland. McClelland with a blazing fast 33.80 on that 2:09.19 for the event. Once again, if you're just joining us, this clock on our screen is unofficial, just to give an idea of where the athletes are in the event. McClelland now making the turn. It looks like now Moretti for California extending that lead for second place just a little bit. And what have you seen up until this point, Andrew, for California?
Moretti's just doing a great job trying to keep up with McClelland, which is not an easy task whatsoever. But nonetheless, I mean, just trying to get that second place spot. And then obviously we have Bella Dugani in lane 2 that is kind of wrapping up third place right now, fourth place right now, hoping to kind of stay there.
McClelland now has extended her lead to about 6 or 7 lengths, but Moretti's extended her lead to about a length and a half. As we're about the 3:20 mark here of the event, so about another 2 minutes left to go of this event, and then there'll be another little break, and then the final 2 events of the afternoon. So I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing here from the Natatorium. We're glad to be bringing it to you. Great crew today. Director Noah Turner, camera Braxton Turner, camera Sarah Cedar. The Duke of Denver Heights, Andrew White, myself, and Nate Kurtz is taking pictures for our sports information director, Matt Keifer. So we go this turn right now. We're at 3:50, almost at the 4-minute mark. McClelland looks like she's struggling a little bit on the end, but might just be slowing down her pace just a little bit. First place is not in doubt. And, in fact, she has already qualified for the PSACs with a 5:06 earlier in the season. So, nice, comfortable swim for her. She makes another turn right at 4 minutes.
Taylor Madison from Millersville looking to get her qualifying number in there. As earlier this season, she was sitting at a 5:29.44, so just about less than a second off of qualifying earlier this year. You got to think that she is doing everything she can to reach that mark right now.
So McClelland making the turn for home right now. Moretti for California is going to be comfortably in second place. This will be the bell lap for this event. McClelland makes the turn at around 4:50, so I believe she'll be off of her best pace of the year, but comfortably in first place in this heat. Moretti making the turn in second place for California. And it looks like third place will be Claire Weaver, because I don't think the California swimmer in lane 2, Bella Dugati, can catch her. In fact, Dugati and Madison Taylor for Millersville are fighting out. But while that's going on, McClelland finishes with a final lap, 32:21, blazing fast. Waiting to see what her time is. Moretti for California coming in. She will touch second. Her lap was at 33:30. Excuse me. Not sure what her lap is because it came off the board real quick. But the winning time was 5:21.45 for Jane McClelland of Millersville. Second place was Maddie Moretti for California at 5:32.15. So that's the end of Heat 10. We're going to take another break here for a little bit while the athletes can cool down, and we'll be back for the final 2 events. You are watching Vulcan Swimming right here on CTV Sports 1 and the PSAC Network. And welcome back to the Hamer Hall Natatorium. I'm Gary Smith, joined by Andrew White, the Duke of Denbo Heights. And Andrew, we referenced earlier there's a lot going on in Vulcan Nation today, but right now the women's basketball team on the shores of Lake Erie battling Mercyhurst. Again, we wish we could have been there. Internet and space restrictions really aren't conducive to our needs up there, so luckily we were able to be here and bring you swimming. But you have an update from the Mercyhurst Athletic Center.
So the women Vulcans team was able to actually outscore Mercyhurst 22-6 in that third quarter. They came into the fourth quarter holding a 13-point lead, but now it is cut down to 7 as it's 48-41 with 8 minutes to play.
And here at the Natatorium, we are at the end of our second break. We are going into our final two events. The next to last event will be the women's 100-yard breaststroke. Time to look at for the PSAC is 1:11:27. We'll go through the lane assignments here in a second if you would like to do the honors. A lot of people are texting and saying it's the Andrew White lane assignment challenge. It's going viral right now, so show them how to do it.
All right, so in lane 1 we got Ava Adeletti from Millersville. Lane 2, Autumn Christianer from Cal. Lane 3, Leah Eckert from Millersville. Lane 4, Ella Root from Cal. Lane 5, Kate Pelagatti from Millersville. And then lane 6, Audrey Weaver from California.
So again, the time to look at 1:11:27. So two more events here, the 100-yard breaststroke and then the final event of the day, the 200-yard freestyle, which is a lot of fun to watch. And I'm sure if you're a competitor, a lot of fun to swim because it is a team event. Everyone will be up on the blocks, up on the pool deck. The athletes are now just finishing warming up. I think we have one or two that just got out of the pool on the far left. So once again, this is senior day for the California Vulcans and the athletes, and had a very nice ceremony at the beginning of the event. And head coach April Gitson is at the pool deck getting her charges ready for this 100-yard breaststroke. Again, 1:11:27. You got California swimmers in lanes 2, 4, and I believe, is that it?
2, 4, and 6.
2, 4, and 6. I was going to say, yeah, they're moving around a little bit. I'm like, I thought I saw three red uniforms down there on the pool deck. So looks like the official on the far end is getting ready to start the action. And there's the call to action. Been a fun day of swimming here at Hamer Hall. Looking forward to two final good swims here for the Vulcans. And the 100-yard breaststroke is underway. First person to pop up will be lane 2 for California, Autumn Krisner. Looks like she has about a half length lead. Nipped at the wall there by Eckert for Millersville, but it's going to be nip and tuck here going down the final part. And actually it looks like maybe lane 4, Ella Root, is getting herself into the conversation. As it's pretty much a dead heat from these old eyes. But it looked like Root might have touched the lane first, and in fact, she did not. They're saying by about a tenth of a second she's in second place, but lanes 2, 3, and 4 are neck and neck. We'll see on the far end there. Looks like touching first will be Eckert. Eckert and Root, and then followed up by Krisner. Coming down the final stretch here. It's going to be a close finish, but it looks like Millersville may edge it at the line here, and in fact, it'll be very close, but taking the victory will be Leah Eckert for Millersville at 36.91, and then in second place, 36.80. Okay, that was the lap time. I was going to say that math does not add up. So lane 3, 1:10.28. Lane 4, 1:10.43. So about 0.2 of a second between first and second there. And that was an exciting race there, Andrew.
Both Autumn and Ella making the qualifying time as well for that race. So it's always good to see from the Vulcan standpoint with the PSAC playoffs, or I guess qualifications coming up here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, neither one had previously qualified, so congratulations to them. That was a heck of a race by all three. And speaking of heck of races, we're going to have the final race of the afternoon, the 200-yard freestyle relay. And I'll let you give the lineups, my friend.
Sounds good. So in Heat 1, we have Lena Rowe, followed by Ava Adeletti, followed by Olivia Terrazas, and then Bella Yeager, and that is for Millersville. And then number 3, will be Jules Hepner, followed by Christian Mail, followed by Claire Weaver, and then finishing up will be Jordan Plemple. And then in 5, we have Jane McClellan, followed by Mackenzie Yosko, with third being Alana Jacobson, and finishing it up will be Lindsay Robbins.
So only 3 lanes being used for this event. California
actually, it looks like California will be taking action in 2 and 4. We just didn't have the...
Yeah, this is different than what we have, so we're going to try and bear with us as our meet sheet only had 3 teams. So we'll just have to call them by team name. So it looks like Millersville in lanes 1, 3, and 5. California in lane 2 and 4. Millersville out to a lead, followed by both California swimmers. And Millersville touches the wall first, so the second leg, Millersville 1 and 2, California in lane 4 and 3. And also, so it's Millersville 1, 2, California 3 and 4. And then the last Millersville team in 5th place. So lane 3 for Millersville ahead of everybody, extending, but it looks like California in lane 5 holding off Millersville in lane 6. So here's the next turn. Millersville out ahead, California second, and Millersville third. So third swimmer for California getting a nice jump and trying to cut into that Millersville lead as they come to the far turn, the head for home. And this will be going into the final leg of the relay.
It's going to come down to Jordan Plemple here for Millersville to kind of close things off there in lane 3.
And Plemple, the closer, about a half a pull length ahead, but a great jump by California swimmer. And a furious stroke right now, trying to cut down on that lead, but the turn is made by Millersville. It looks like Millersville will, in fact, in lane 3, get the win, followed by California in lane 4. The time to look at 1:33.83. So Millersville 1, California 2. And it looks like, if our math is correct, that California may have hit the qualifying mark. So a very fast race for our final race, Andrew. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that was exciting. It's always nice to see like the whole entire team get into the last event, and you know, to be able to pull it off and qualify and get the qualifying time. I'm sure they're very proud of themselves.
Let's see, the time's 1:42.27, 1:45.49, 1:48.77. So in fact, we were all wrong on our math. I always forget that the last section doesn't go up until after we've already said. So once again, a little apology there. We didn't know on our sheet we only had 3 teams, and they were all Millersville, so not really sure where the mix-up was, but we apologize. But it was a great run for both California relays to finish second and third. And looks like that'll be the finale of the meets. Both teams are going to come together. And Andrew, any final thoughts after your first swim action of your life?
Yeah, I mean, obviously coming into it and wasn't really too sure what to expect, but definitely a very engaging environment, and it's nice to see like the support that each team gets from one another. And in that first little freestyle time trial from Rowe, it was also cool to just see not only Millersville's team but California's team rooting her on, and it's a great sport. It needs a little bit more attention, in my opinion, and I was happy to be a part of it.
Well, for complete event results and times and qualifying marks and everything fun, go to calvulcans.com. It will be updated there. And also for CUTV, we will see you on Monday, doubleheader from IUP, men's and women's basketball, and then follow up by Wednesday, men's and women's basketball home versus Edinburgh. So very busy week in Vulcan Athletics and also CUTV. So make sure to follow calvulcans.com for all the broadcast information. Follow CUTV_PA on X for our links and everything like that. So once again, had a wonderful crew today for our director, Ashley Turner. Noah Turner. I'm all kinds of confused. Noah Turner, Braxton Turner, Sarah Cedar, and Andrew Wright, and Nate Kurtz down on pool deck. You've been watching CUTV Sports 1 and the PSAC Network.